up tonight on VCU InSight.
A shocking sight on Richmond streets as a local group advocates for open carry of guns.
Students from Collegiate Middle School sew pillows for a good cause.
And you'll never guess what this former professional athlete is doing in Richmond now.
All this and more.
VCU InSight starts right now.
From the Richard T. Robertson School of Media and Culture at Virginia Commonwealth University, named Best Student Newscast in the Mid-Atlantic, this is VCU InSight.
Good evening and welcome to VCU InSight. I'm Joel Tyler.
And I'm Alex Treehouse. Thanks for joining us. Our top story tonight. It's not a sight you'd expect to see, but earlier this month, 6 men armed with rifles walked from Chimborazo Park to Shockoe Bottom. They weren't doing anything illegal, just spreading the message about their right to bear arms. InSight's reporter Forrest Nguyen is in the newsroom with more on this story. Good evening, Forrest.
Good evening, Alex. Even though it's legal, walking down the street with a rifle is pretty shocking. But these open carry groups aren't looking for trouble, they're sending a message. Last month, these men walked around Richmond public streets openly carrying rifles on their backs and pistols on their belts to pass out pamphlets about their right to bear arms. According to Virginia law, it is completely legal to open carry a firearm on public property without any permit or special license. Dale Welch is a self-proclaimed open carry activist, and he says these walks are necessary to protect this right in Virginia.
Is to make commonplace the everyday carry of self-defense suits.
So even though open carry is legal in Virginia, Starbucks, Target, and Chipotle have asked their customers to leave their firearms at home. Weapons trainer Reese Haller is not only concerned about the weapon itself, but the level of training that person might have.
When I see a policeman come down the street with a gun on his side, I know he's had several weeks of training to learn how to use that firearm. But if I see you coming down the street with a gun on your side, I have no clue what your training level is. And that is a little bit intimidating for other people.
Unlike an open carry, you need to go through a minimum 8-hour class, an application under oath in front of a notary, and a written test to get a concealed carry license, which allows someone to hide a gun.
I'm all for people carrying guns open or concealed as long as they have training and they know, and part of that training is not just on how to handle the gun, but when to handle the gun.
In an official statement, Richmond police say that even though that they recognize that open carry is legal, that they urge anyone uncomfortable with the situation to call 911. Back to you, Alex.
Thank you, Forrest.
On Monday, Governor Terry McAuliffe announced the name of a task force to combat sexual assault on college campuses. The task force, which includes student leaders, police, and Attorney General Mark Herring, will review and change various Virginia school policies on how to respond to sexual violence.
Getting around Richmond will soon be easier and faster. The federal government recently awarded the Greater Richmond Transit Company a $24 million grant toward a rapid transit system on Broad Street. The system will stretch 7.5 miles along Broad Street, with the 2 endpoints being Rockets Landing in the east and Willow Lawn in the west. In all, the project is said to cost around $54 million, with funding coming from all 3 levels of government. It's set to be complete by August of 2018.
With just a few days into the fall equinox, leaves and temperatures aren't the only thing dropping. Environmental experts are concerned that the number of honeybees is reaching dangerously low levels.
Jerry Mariaco, a professional beekeeper and owner of Rock Hill Bee Farm in Spotsylvania, has been tending to the bees since he was 9 years old, and he has noticed the decline.
Well, we still have not figured out exactly what it is.
However, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the number of managed U.S. honeybee colonies dropped from 6 million colonies back in 1947 to just 2.5 million today.
And although some people believe the decline in honeybees is caused by pesticide and herbicide use, others believe it is caused by mites and diseases. Still, the mystery remains as to what's really causing these black and yellow disappearances.
Environmental scientist Loretta Cummings explains,
the big problem is that bees are our primary pollinators. And if we don't have something pollinating crops, then we're going to start having famine problems in different areas. There isn't anything to really replace bees.
In the meantime, beekeepers are doing everything they can to increase their numbers.
Doing is dividing colonies and putting new queen cells in to boost the numbers. We're putting smaller amounts of bees on one location so that they have less competition for food. We're feeding.
And although you may not be a professional beekeeper, you can still help out by planting bright flowers that bloom year-round, like rose bushes, sunflowers, and even marigolds to help attract the honeybees.
A new condo at Scott's Addition in Richmond is going green. The all-inclusive apartment complex Scott's Edge will have all its energy provided by the sun. Displaying more than 900 solar panels installed by Shako Solar, it generates an average of 270 kilowatts per hour over a year. The building's renovation is part of the State Historic Rehabilitation Tax Program, and leasing just started.
The Richmond public school systems believe no child should go hungry at school because of their family income. This year, the school system is part of a new program offering free meals for all students, regardless of income. InSight's Bria White has more on this story.
With the new school year underway, Ebony Nelson prepares her daughter Kennedy's lunch for the next day, despite knowing they qualify for free lunches at school.
I have already planned to send her to school with her lunches, packaged from home.
Over 70% of Richmond's children are already eligible for free and reduced meals, so it's not a far stretch for the school to join the federal program called the Community Eligibility Provision, which allows free lunches for everyone. School Board Vice Chair Kristen Larson says the program does not only pay off for the children.
The benefits of this program are that we'll reduce administrative costs and students won't have to fill out an application, we won't have to process them, and that on our side it's nearly 15,000 applications.
The program's main goal is to make sure that the kids have a nutritious meal, including fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. The way it works is they count children previously eligible for the program, then give an extra percentage of the cost to the school. What's left over is paid by individual sales from the cafeteria. In the 2014 budget, $200,408 is expected from the state reimbursement. Though Nelson plans to send her daughter with a lunchbox every day, she can see why other parents would take advantage of the free meals.
There's a lot of kids out here that don't have food to eat at home, and so they want to make sure that they are getting balanced meals while they're at school.
For VCU InSight, I'm Bria White.
In addition to the free meals which are set by the school, students can also buy extra items in the cafeteria.
The trial of former Governor Bob McDonnell and his wife Maureen captivated people across the nation for most of the month of August. Cameras weren't allowed in the courtroom to document the proceedings, so readers of the Richmond Times-Dispatch had to rely on a courtroom artist. That person was a student from right here at VCU. InSight's Megan Simpson is in the studio with Chris Kindred. Good evening, Megan.
I'm in the studio with Chris Kindred, Richmond Times-Dispatch courtroom sketch artist. Chris, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us, how did you come across this job opportunity?
I was taking a nap one day, one afternoon, and I woke up and saw that Communication Arts had posted an open call for their students. An editor from the Times-Dispatch said they needed a sketch artist immediately. So I hopped out of bed, I scanned my sketchbook pages, sent a nice little email, and within a couple hours I heard right back. And that's when the train kind of got rolling.
So how was it like being in the courtroom around like such a high profile case?
I actually had no clue it was a high profile case at all until I showed up one morning and I was asking a reporter about the case, and he told me, yeah, this is probably one of the most high profile cases in Virginia. And I had no clue it was even getting national attention.
So kind of being like our eyes into the courtroom, how much pressure was that on you?
As soon as the pressure hit, it went from a casual paid drawing session to, oh, I'm responsible for the viewpoint of so many people now. It's like I felt the pressure of having to accurately portray what was happening as best I could.
Okay. So we have some video of you just sketching a few things. So tell us, how did you get into illustration to begin with?
This started maybe back in 6th grade. I got in a fight over trading cards, and while I was grounded, my friends sent me comic books and other art books, and I drew from there, and that kind of springboarded me into my art career today.
So what are some things that you're involved in now that like we should look out for you doing?
I'm illustrations editor of the Commonwealth Times, the local school newspaper. Let's see, I'm the editor-in-chief of the comics anthology at VCU, which is one of VCU's first collected editions of comics contributions from students. And man, what else do I do? I'm also involved in a lot of communication arts related activities, as well as Kappa Pi, VCU's art fraternity.
Okay. When did that get started? I never heard of that before.
I actually don't know when exactly it started. It happened within the decade. So.
Okay. All right. So, like being in that atmosphere of the courtroom, like you mentioned in the green room that you were sitting actually beside someone from CNN. Yeah. How was that?
It was daunting at first. I had no clue this guy even worked for CNN, so I looked down at his badge, and it had his name, and then under it CNN, and I was like, oh, this case is serious.
So, what are your next steps as an illustrator?
As soon as I graduate next year, I'll definitely be sending out postcards to my selected clients and try to build a portfolio so I can, I guess, get steady work as well as pushing my career in small press publishing. I'm interested in small press or locally distributed comics and illustrations and representing artists.
Okay. So like graduation's coming up in?
Winter next year.
Winter next year, okay. And like, are you gonna go into illustration after that, or are you gonna like dabble in something else?
I'm gonna try to get into illustration even before I graduate. Mm-hmm. It's not uncommon for students to end up getting jobs as they're in school.
Okay, so thank you for being here with us, Chris, and
yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you, Megan. The city of Richmond is coming out. Signs like these are a part of Richmond's regional tourism plan of declaring the city as being gay-friendly. The idea of the campaign is to include stickers in local store windows that read "Out RVA" to show that Richmond is a welcoming community to people who live here. As well as tourists, so far, 15 businesses around Richmond are in support and have stickers to promote the campaign. Any business can sign up to become a part of the movement on Out RVA's website.
A local museum dedicated to African American history will be undergoing some big changes. The Black History Museum in Jackson Ward will be taking over and renovating the historic Lee Street Armory, and some leaders say it's a long time coming. The Black History Museum is in need of more space, from old photographs to old glasses and pocket watches to advertisements and articles. The museum has a lot to offer. After 33 years at the same location on West Clay Street, the Black History Museum is relocating. Museum CEO Stacy Burrs feels that the move has many benefits.
An opportunity for more cultural heritage, tourism, to come east of the convention center, great opportunities for kids to learn about history and to learn who they are, learn about opportunities for themselves to better themselves.
Just 1 mile away from the convention center, the new location of choice is the Lee Street Armory. Although the museum is known for its African American history, the Lee Street Armory holds some history itself. The Armory is the only one in the country ever built for an African American militia. Burrs says that the Armory is a one-of-a-kind iconic building in Richmond, Virginia.
So it seemed like a wonderful home for a Black History Museum.
The renovations on the Armory and relocation of the museum will cost roughly $13 million total. Project engineer Timon Phillips says he's looking forward to working on the building and has gotten a lot of support from the community.
It's a really unique thing I think they're doing with the building. I think it's going to turn out to be really nice. It's just also kind of fun, you know, coming down here and actually being able to be a part of something like this for our community.
The museum has received money from the Department of Housing and Community Development, as well as other grants coming from the city, local institutions, and corporate donations. The renovations are expected to be finished in late 2015.
A new ride-sharing app has recently hit the Richmond market and is taking local transportation and smartphone use to a new level. Uber is an all-in-one ride-sharing service that offers a smartphone app that hooks up to your credit card. It allows you to request a driver, track your travel, and pay, all from your phone. Uber X is the most affordable version of the 5 service offered by the company and the only one extended to Richmond. Uber says its services are more than 40% cheaper than a taxi. The app is available for download on both Androids and iPhones. Most middle schoolers spend most of their day looking forward to recess, a break from schoolwork, and a time to hang out with their friends. But at one Richmond school, a group of students has something else in mind entirely. It has nothing to do with playground games and everything to do with sewing. Of all things. Isabel Cedebrino is in the newsroom with more on the story. Good evening, Isabel.
Good evening, Joel. Some kids at the collegiate school are spending their recess time spreading hope and sewing for smiles.
Every day during recess, a group of 57th graders rush to the school library, but instead of books, they look for something unlikely, needle and thread.
Way better than PE.
The group is called Sew for SOS. Luke Tyson, the 12-year-old mastermind behind it, came up with this idea when facing the fear of surgery on his broken arm.
It made me want to help other people who are going through similar sort of slumps in their lives.
Tyson and his friends learned to use the sewing machine with the head librarian, Caroline LaMontagne, to create free little pillows with kind messages inside to help veterans, hospital patients, and others through their tough times.
They run it themselves. They've done fundraising all on their own. They reach out to organizations all on their own. They handle all of it. And that gives me great hope for the future.
With more than 500 pillows sent out and with orders pouring in, Sew for SOS soon will be an international institution, sending hope all over the planet.
Devon Pondia is in charge of the website where orders can be made and is excited about this success.
The really cool thing is we ship 2 pillows to London, so we're technically international.
And after a successful online campaign and being accepted to the Summer of Service Award, Sew for SOS got $2,000 to keep on making a difference, one stitch at a time. Back to you, Joel.
Thank you, Isabel.
Glen Allen Day had another successful run at the Meadow Farm Museum Crump Park this year. The occasion is currently the largest outdoor event in Henrico. Folks from all over Glen Allen and the surrounding areas joined together on September 20th for concession foods, craft fair stands, live music, a cornhole tournament, among other things. This year also featured a mobile library and 2 music stages. Admission and parking was available for free, along with a shuttle bus for anyone that had to park far away.
A whole lot of cute at the Richmond Metro Zoo. 5 cheetah cubs were born at the zoo last Friday. This is the second litter of cubs born at the zoo in less than a year. Although one of the first group of babies got sick and died, this latest litter will join the cheetah exhibit once they are old enough. In the meantime, the zoo is gearing up for the popular cheetah cam once again, so people can watch their growth from the comfort of their home and offices. Zoo owner Jim Adelin hopes to have it up and running this week so cheetah fans can get their first look at the new babies. When going to the dentist, you probably don't expect to see a dog in the office, but that's just what you'll find at James River Family Dentistry. The idea is to put nervous patient at ease, and it's a growing trend in dentistry. InSight's Ember Kessler is in the studio with Buster, a dental therapy dog, and his owner, Dr. Marcy Guthrie. Good evening, Ember.
I'm in the studio with Dr. Marcy Guthrie and her dental therapy dog, Buster. Dr. Guthrie, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
So, Buster is a 9-year-old French bulldog. Did he become a part of your family before or after you realized the need for a therapy dog in your office?
He actually was part of my family before I even had my own practice. He was part of my family. So when I purchased the practice July 1st, 2008, he was facing a back surgery the night before, and I had him in the emergency vet, so by default he kind of ended up coming because I was worried about his well-being at home when I was at work. And my patients that came to my practice in Bon Air and followed me, I told them, you know, if they were good, that my dog was in the back in a crate. He wasn't feeling well because of his back, facing back surgery, but they could see him if they were good at the end. So they got really excited and they, you know, expressed interest in seeing him again. So for that reason, he had plans to be a part of the practice. It was more his decision, I guess, than mine from coming that sense. And then I had him certified after that.
Okay, So we have some video here of Buster working at the office. Can you give us a little bit of an idea of what he does every day when he's at the office?
Yes, he sits at the front desk, usually greeting patients as they walk in the door, welcoming them to the practice. And patients, I believe, are equally as excited to see him, and he is always welcoming pets.
All right. And what was the process to get him certified? Was there any training involved? Was it simple?
I had obedience training with him prior to, just when we first got him, but I've heard of Therapy Dog International, and we went down to, I believe it was Yorktown at the time. It's been some time since it's been done where it was, and there were other dogs present, and they had to be around loud noises, handicapped wheelchairs, babies yelling. So, you know, to be certified, they had to have the proper temperament around different factors, I guess, to get certified.
Was it hard for him to get certified, or was it a
no?
pretty...
There was no anxiety for me to think that he could, and he passed with flying colors, so it was
Great. Good. So since Buster has began working at your practice, have you had an increase in patients being more comfortable coming to the office now and not being so nervous?
I do think that he actually draws new patients to the practice. It gives patients something to look forward to when they come to the dentist, and he's on my website, and people have come specifically saying, because I had a certified therapy dog, and they want to know where Buster is when they walk in the door, because he's usually behind the front desk. So yeah, I do think so.
Has anybody ever been upset that there was a dog in the office?
I've not had anybody be upset as of yet, so I've been very fortunate for that.
And you said you've had new patients who specifically came and asked to see Buster. Did they get referrals from other patients who are already there, or they sought out your practice online and saw, oh, they have a therapy dog and I'd love to go there?
I think both. Just recently, I had a new patient that came that was referred by a name that I had not recognized. So there had been discussion, there's a therapy dog there. They knew that their friend had anxiety. They tried to get her to go to the dentist for a year, and finally, because of their knowing that Buster was there and a therapy dog, she ended up coming, and now the one that referred her has since come as well. So I thought that that was very interesting that these people had not even come to the practice, but were able to coerce people to actually come and get the dental care that they knew that they needed because there was a therapy dog present at the office.
Well, thank you so much. I've been speaking with Dr. Marcy Guthrie and her dental therapy dog, Buster. Dr. Guthrie, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
There's a new organization in Richmond dedicated to helping disabled children find new freedom. Some may take riding their bike for granted, but one little guy is just getting the hang of it. InSight's Randy Ayala has more on this story.
Do you need help? No. Born with a rare spinal defect, Jackson Mackey is paralyzed from the waist down.
He's never let it stop him. He always gets up and goes and tries to do as much as any other 3-year-old would do.
3 isn't the easiest age to have such limited mobility, so his physical therapist referred him to an organization called Reach Cycles. It's a nonprofit that gives children bikes specially fitted to their physical needs.
Good job! We didn't even know that you could get a bike like this.
After serving in the military, Reach Cycles president James Howard was injured in a freak accident and became a quadriplegic 6 years ago. This accident is what caused him to receive his first bike at a veterans event.
And it gave me a lot of freedom and mobility, and when I received that bike for the first time, I mean, it just really helped me to make another step in my life to just kind of get over everything.
And that's the step that led James into a life of giving others, just like Jackson, what he once received himself. Not just a bike, but the chance at living a normal life despite his circumstances.
Reach Cycles runs entirely on donations, so families don't have to pay a penny.
They did all the work for us. They did fundraising. This has been life-changing. It gave him opportunities that we didn't think he'd be able to have.
So far, Reach Cycles has given out nearly 30 bikes since May, and these kids couldn't be happier.
Just kind of opened up a whole new world to him.
A world that now includes a chance for Jackson to be a typical kid. For VCU InSight, I'm Randy Ayala.
While some children are referred by their physical therapists, others can apply online. Reach Cycles will host another fundraiser next month. To find out more, you can visit their website.
Virginia's Special Olympics Over the Edge is back. They are inviting fans and thrill seekers to rappel 400 feet from the top of the SunTrust Center in downtown Richmond. The event takes place October 17th and 18th. Individuals who are able to raise $1,000 will be able to join this adrenaline rush, stepping over the edge. So, if you like heights and the thrill of hanging from a downtown building, contact Virginia Special Olympics.
And finally tonight, professional athletes have a competitive drive that helps them achieve success.
But what this former pro athlete who now lives in Richmond does for competition may surprise you. InSight's Adam Epstein reports.
It may not be what you'd imagine from a retired 4-time NBA Defensive Player of the Year, but at 6'8", 240, Ben Wallace is an animal behind the paddle.
But you got to see, in this game, it's coming back at you. You know, they hit it at me, I get a chance to hit it back at them.
O'Neal deep in the post, lots of contact there. Oh, what a block by Wallace!
From swatting shots on the hardwood to swatting ping pong balls, Wallace is competitive.
A couple times I went we played probably like 3 hours and I went the whole day without losing. So
Wallace made a name for himself at Virginia Union University before going undrafted to the Wizards.
Ben Wallace Gym here in Henrico, Virginia, where you can find him working on his ping pong game. Wallace spent most of his career in Detroit, even winning the NBA championship in '04, but he always knew Richmond would be his home.
From day one, the city of Richmond adopted me, and community looked out for me, made me feel at home. So for that, I was always thankful, and I always said when I retire, I'm gonna be here in Richmond.
But ping pong started way before the NBA for Wallace.
Hey, I started playing in junior college.
Where at?
In Cleveland. It was foreign to me when I first started. I didn't think nobody played the game for real.
It's the same reasons people feared Wallace in the paint that help him in ping pong. Robert Johnson has been playing Wallace for years.
He's agile, he has good size, good length.
Be ready. Wallace is accepting challenges.
Well, I got my paddle, you get your paddle, let's go.
For VCU InSight, I'm Adam Epstein.
Wallace would like to host tournaments at his gym, but nothing is scheduled yet.
What an interesting way to spend your post-NBA career. I'd like to see you try and challenge him, Joel.
I thought you might say something like that. It's a good thing I've been practicing on my backhand.
Oh, I'd pay to see that, definitely.
That's it for this edition of VCU InSight. Make sure to check us out, our website at insight.vcu.edu.
You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook under VCU InSight. Contact us with any stories you'd like to see on our show.
And if you missed our show or would like to watch it again, you can find us on YouTube at VCU InSight.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Alex Treehouse.
And I'm Joel Tyler. We'll see you next time.